All right, and here we are, the matchup of the Englands versus the Japan. Can't speak. Anyway, welcome to another installment of the TT Amulet tournament. We have our final wildcard match before we go into the quarterfinals. We have Bandow versus CMA today. We had an earlier match a few hours ago. Bandow jumped in for comms on that one. I had overslept, so thank you much to Bandow. But now we get to see him in this match today. Once again, this is a best of 3. Whoever wins this will be advancing on in the tournament, and whoever loses will be out of the tournament. So this is a pretty big deal. I'm certain both of them want to win this one. Countdown will be getting started pretty soon here. And I believe Bandow is the favorite for this match. His PB is a 29 flat on the site, and CMA has about a 32 flat. In one of the previous qualifying matches, he got a 32.06. And here we go. We'll get them synced up in a moment here. 2809 for Bandow. Very nice. Gotta get submitted. Now we're synced up. Very nice. Lovely intro. And since we have a little bit of time, this will be a good time to mention that we have new emotes. We have a lot of new emotes. If you're ever wondering what time would be the best time to support the channel, now would be the best time. You get to use all these new incredible emotes.
I am the genie of the island. I'm here to help you. Good luck.
Alright, let's get the overworld movement started. Bandow gets a better Taj. And they're both off. We've got 4 overworld balloons to collect here. And if you miss one of them, it can be a bit painful to have to recollect them, especially in the plane. If you lose your momentum in plane, it's pretty hard to get it back. Rounding the corner for Bandow there. Does one for the fans. This will give a chance for CMA to catch up a little bit. They both get the ledge balloon, and then there's the final one in front of the dino door. So they're all good to go. No major time losses from either. Each one kind of had a little stumble there in the beach area. Wow, would you look at this? Everyone gets subs. Brandino is very, very generous. Brandino's restreaming today, by the way, so this is kind of funny. Woohoo! The large 5. Anyway, we've got Fossil Canyon here. Oh, that's the worst oil slick possible for Bandow, but he makes a beautiful recovery. 180s back into the zipper. And now they're all matched up here. CMA having a little bit of trouble with the chain. And a mine for Bandow. Oh my goodness. The CPUs are relentless. What's also interesting is that the first time you visit a track, the CPUs will actually be at their lowest level difficulty. So in this case, it's on a scale of 1 to 9, and they are on a level 1 difficulty right now. But even then, they've already placed down some horrible placement, like items and traps, so Bandow's just insanely unlucky there. They both hit the first cutscene skip. It's a frame-perfect trick. You can pause on the final frame of the race, and on that frame, the game awards you the balloon for beating it, but you can also return to the lobby. And then that lets you skip the cutscene of Taj giving you the balloon, which we don't need to watch because we're already getting it on that frame. Now that's some real support. Bandow showing his support, his love for DKR. I'm sure you appreciate it as much as we do, supporting the channel. Thank you very much. Ancient Lake, we've got a key grab. Looks like, yeah, CMA went for it lap 2, and Bandow's going for it lap 3. And the reason why some players will opt to do it on different laps kind of depends on how fast they're getting through the lap transition, if they want to carry that speed so that they don't have to lose it to go for the key grab. And Bandow misses that cutscene skip, so now he gets to go take a walk. It's about 40 seconds of unskippable cutscenes here. But it'll all even out once we get to Fire Mountain here. CMA on his way to Jungle Falls. This is probably my favorite car track in the game. If you do it just right, it'll just flow perfectly. Each boost chains into the other one. And you can just keep building speed until you just go like near uncontrollably fast. But it's really fun to actually be able to control it. It's car in a nutshell. Let's see if CMA can go 3 for 3 on the cutscene skips. It'd be a little bit harder. But he still gets it. It can be a little bit tricky going for cutscene skips at low speed because it's very hard to accurately judge the frame when the game will, when you would need to pause the game. If you're going really slow, you know, even if you're on the texture of the finish line, it could really just be any one of them. It's very hard to determine that. Fire Mountain, the egg collection minigame. Bandow hits the cutscene skip. We do this pattern of collecting a central egg for the first one, stealing an egg from an adjacent CPU nest, and then going back to the middle for our third egg. The CPU almost took that third egg from CMA. We also have a homing missile that we've picked up. That egg is right on the edge. Did anyone see that? So now CMA is just looking to make sure that no CPUs come and steal the egg. So that's why we have the missile, because it does happen, and he gets through it cleanly. Bandow trying to go for the same thing here. CPU barely missing that central egg for him to pick up. Barely misses that egg in his nest. So now we just gotta watch the mini-map and make sure that no one comes and takes it. Nice. They both get through Fire Mountain very, very clean. So you can see here, CMA had to watch the entire cutscene with Taj there at the end of Fire Mountain, whereas since Bandow missed a cutscene skip, he then gets to skip it. But it's still about 2 seconds slower to miss a cutscene skip and then skip Fire Mountain cutscene. It's faster to just hit all of them and watch it. Only by a little bit, but it's not as punishing as some of the other cutscene skips. Bandow misses the start boost, which is always really unfortunate on the plane track, because then you just have to like start from 0 speed. You have to get your momentum on your own completely. This track we can go out of bounds. You can boost and barrel roll under the lava, underneath the road. So you may actually miss the first key checkpoint. There we go. You can see we have the indicators on the sides of the gameplay here, and that lets us know if we're touching checkpoints, and we're also looking for a specific direction of the indicators, which are tied to the key checkpoints, which are located, in this case, on the top of the minimap and the bottom of the minimap. So once we see the correct symbol, that's when we know that we can turn around and keep going. And on this final cutscene skip in Dino Domain, we do exit game, quit to menu, and that lets us skip the entire boss presentation cutscene. Saves a lot of time. They both get it. Very nice. Just about even through Dino. It's a good start for both of them. Car challenge. This is the reverse NASCAR challenge. You're just turning right 3 laps in a row. Really, the only challenge is to not get too overconfident and run into the wall by trying to cut a very tight line. Happens to everyone, though. Then Bandow going for the fast finish. You can cut into the grass and hit the finish line from over there. That allows us to also immediately switch into the plane vehicle. CMA doing the same. You can cut that ending a little bit tighter if you go to the right of the tree instead of the left, but then you can risk disqualification. Because if the game detects that you're too far away from the path for too long, it'll just stop the race and you'll have to redo it. So it's a lot riskier to do it like that. Especially in a tournament, sometimes you just have to place some of the little things a lot safer than you normally would if you're trying to go for like a PB. You just need a little bit of consistency in your routine when it comes to a tournament, just to guarantee that you don't make any major mistakes. Yeah, now we're in Snowflake Mountain. We got Frosty Village as the first track here. Very pretty track. Probably one of my favorite looking tracks from the whole game. The village section just looks incredible. I wish I could have lived there. We have a few unique jumps in this. We have the big downhill jump into the village, then we also have the jump in the forest to chain two zippers together. Really, it actually like chains all of the remaining zippers together. It really is. It's like a quad chain in a sense. There's a lot of boosting that you do on this track. And this cutscene skipping Frosty Village is also pretty tricky because the frame rate at the end kind of jumps down to 15 FPS, so the amount of time and the frame spacing will change. And if you're not used to that, you could very easily miss it. So first framing it like Bandow did there is crucial to getting it. If you have to buffer it, it is much, much harder if you are not used to that frame rate. Both first frames are very good. I think most people that have to buffer it, it's at least a 50% chance that they will miss it, maybe even greater. We got the key grab for Bandow. Good key grab. We'll hold a blue balloon through the lap transition so that we can use it to boost out of the alcove where the key is. See CMA go for it here. He boosts into the alcove and then has to drive out with his own power. You'll see a lot of the top runners, they'll hold it and then kind of smash into the front corner of the alcove to barely grab it, to take the least amount of distance possible. It's really tight, like, position in line that you have to put yourself on. Oh no, the shield only gets one spin though, that's fortunate. They both get the cutscene skips. Very nice. Bandow's heading into Icicle Pyramid. This is a battle minigame. There's one other battle minigame that we're going to be doing here, but this one is a bit more consistent than the other one. There is a fast strategy that we have. We go up to the top level and camp this red balloon here. Collect a few homing missiles and shoot down one of these CPUs a few times. And then the other CPUs will come and stack up on our location because we're shooting a bunch of shots. They want a piece of the action themselves. Conquer getting dangerously close to us. Oh. It should be fine. Just collect a homing missile and shoot it. Or just get down to the bottom level and intercept. Good recovery. Not ideal though. You see CMA basically getting the exact same thing happening, but hitting that shot instead. Be a little bit of time save. So now, just like what we did in Dino, we're also going to be doing in Sherbet, and we're also going to be doing it in Snow here. Where instead of doing all 4 races while collecting the key, watching the boss cutscene, and then playing the minigame, we can instead play the first 2 or 3 races, collect the key, go do the minigame, and then on the 4th race, we'll do the exit game cutscene skip so that we can skip the boss presentation cutscene. That will save, 10 plus seconds in each world that we do it. It's a really important time save. And in the later matches in this tournament, those quit to menu cutscene skips could really be the deciding factor. Here in Walrus Cove, we have a few tricky obstacles. We have like an S-bend sort of movement that we have to do. We have the ice loop. We also have the fork in the road, where the faster path is the narrow one, but it has a zipper in it. So everyone goes there because it's just that much better. It's not too hard to stay on the road as well. I would say, at least in my opinion, is my favorite level design. The tunnels with the rainbow colors, you get the ice loop, the bridge that runs through the ice loop. Oh no, Bandow got shot. On lap 3 in particular, if you're a little bit slow, the CPUs will often have a missile that they collect in the middle of the bridge, and then they can shoot you as you drive past. It's always a section to watch out for. Going for the ending chain and the cutscene skip. CMA using the earlier boost location to jump over the hill. Another cutscene skip. Very good. And now here in Everfrost Peak is where the runners will do the exit game cutscene skip at the very end. And plane levels. This is an inbounds plane level. Probably some of the most impressive gameplay for the top runners like Bio or Trident. Their abilities with the plane to just keep boosting and never making major mistakes or bonking, and then getting just some of the most insane times in the game. It's something that a lot of people struggle with, is their ability to maintain boost speed in plane when it comes to these inbounds tracks. There's these ground zippers that you can hit in plane, just like you could hit them in car or hover, except you can dive into the zipper and you can also hit them. Just another boost that you can get. We've also got these aerial balloons that you can use to chain all these boosts together as well. It's a very satisfying track to get right. But any mistake is very costly in plane. And Bandow gets it. Now the pressure's on CMA to also get it here, otherwise he'll fall behind by a good amount. But Bandow will be moving into the hover challenge. If you're a fan of snaking constantly and hover A-tapping, then this is your track. Low speed, and he gets it. That was kind of sketchy. Once again, having low speed attempting a cutscene skip is always really tough. You can expect to have to buffer a few times. It's just pretty hard to judge when you would actually need to pause the game. You can see Bandow going for the bridge cut there. You can go to the right of the bridge instead of underneath, and that saves maybe about a half second each time you do it. It's pretty minimal. It's also a little bit risky because if you go too far right when you're cutting to the right side of the bridge, you can actually get disqualified because you're pretty far away from the intended path underneath the bridge. You can see CMA going underneath the bridge, so there's no risk for disqualification there. And Bandow is about one lap ahead of CMA right now. Roughly 20-25 seconds. Goes for the swag finish. If anything, it's not really a true swag finish, because swag finish means that it doesn't save time or it loses time, but turning around as you finish is actually, like, not too bad, because then you get to face in the direction that you need to head next. But it does look cool. And we don't have enough balloons for Treasure Caves yet, so we'll have that be our fourth track, so instead we're going to go into Pirate Lagoon right away. And this track is basically the complete opposite of Hover Challenge. Instead, you have these two really big boost chains. And there's only like one or two major sections where you have to do like hover A-tapping and snaking. very satisfying to see them get every single boost in the chain as well. CMA barely missing the ring zipper. And this like 90-degree turn that we have to do completely blind and then boost where we can't even see where we're going. Probably the hardest section in the track is just that boost that we do into the ring zipper. Bandow gets the cutscene skip outside of the poles. The finish line extends infinitely, so you can kind of do it wherever, but it's really hard to do it because you have no reference to where the finish line is when you're off screen like that. Crescent Island, we've got the Sherbet Island key here in this track. It's in a really tricky spot. I think the developers intended you to use the hovercraft, which you only get access to after you beat it the first time. See, I may miss the cutscene skip, it's going to fall an additional 6 seconds further behind. But the key is off to the left past the first zipper here. It's tucked away in a little alcove. And you can only get it when the tide is high. So you kind of have to time it just right so you can get in there and get out as fast as you can. But most of the time we don't really have a way to like affect the height of the tide. We kind of just get in there, and if it works out, it works out. And if not, then we just wait. The intentional ending cut just to get around that corner a little bit. Kind of like the Koopa Troopa Beach tunnel cut from Mario Kart 64. Just to get through that section a little bit tighter, a little bit faster. And the ship section's also a little bit tricky. You've got like 2 90-degree turns back to back. And the cutscene skip. Pretty good. Pressure's really on CMA for this one. Bandow's been pulling ahead. Been hitting most of the big time saves here. Whale Bay. This is a pretty fun track, except for when it's not. You have to deal with this whale you have to jump off of to get to the tight line that has bananas up top the ship. We'll try to do that every single lap. Very rarely, though, you'll see runners like the whale will like not cooperate or will jump off the wrong spot of the whale and then will just like completely fall off and just sadly have to go around the entire ship, which loses a lot of time. It's also kind of a laggy track as well. Having to buffer this cutscene skip is pretty tough. Same as Frosty Village in difficulty, I would say. Maybe even a little bit harder. So buffer when he gets it. Nice. That one's usually pretty hard. Alright. Here we have, in my opinion, the hardest minigame is Dark Water Beach. It's a battle minigame, but it's really tough to do it fast and to do it consistently. And Bandow, unfortunately, missed a shot. Oh, good single rocket there. That's something I usually try to avoid, is like any like non-guaranteed or unnecessary single rocket shots. They're always just insanely risky. You almost never hit them, but Bandow is just obviously much better than me at that. I usually miss it like 90% of the time. Yeah, usually if the fast strategy that we like to use falls apart in any way, we'll just resort to camping, which is always it works. It really isn't a way to screw it up. See, he misses the Whale Bay cutscene skip. And that was just one more. Yeah, not too bad. Really, the only way you can like lose a ton of time is one, if the fast strategy fails, and then you have to resort to camping, and then additionally you can lose time if your homing rockets, oh good single rocket from CMA, if your homing rockets run into something as they like travel towards the locked down opponent, or if the missile like doesn't lock on at all, which can happen. Like you could be facing someone or face away from them, and like the lock-on system just won't activate, so your homing rocket will just go straight and miss. Alright, treasure caves. This is a very fast track for car. There's a chain of zippers that we like to try and get in the cave section here, but it's really tough to hit at max speed. I would say most runners at least want to hit it once, but sometimes we'll go 0 for 3 in it, which is really sad to see. CMA having a little bit of trouble here. See, that rocket didn't lock on at all, so now he has to pick up another one. Oh, and he accidentally fired off that one. Bandow missed the exit game cutscene skip. Oh boy. Yeah, Sherbet is just probably the hardest part, the deciding factor in most people's runs, I would say, for TT Amulet. It's a lot harder than people think, because you just have some hover tracks, some card tracks, then you have a minigame, but the difficulty in each track and the minigame is like through the roof compared to the rest of the run. I would say maybe one of the most difficult sections possibly would be maybe Windmill Plains if you're opting to go for Windmill Plains, because then you have to get out of bounds and you have to avoid going back inbounds and not making any major mistakes to actually save time with it. But when it comes down to like just the raw, oh no, Bandow, that might be a DQ. Oh, he doesn't get DQ'd. Okay. So he accidentally hit the wall there, and he got pushed to the right. And if you stay out to the right for long enough, the game would think that you've gone too far away for too long, and it would have disqualified you. But Bandow must have just barely avoided the timeout from getting the disqualification. It was insanely close. CMA gets the exit game. That's 3 for 3 for CMA. That's very good. And there's a small bonk there for Bandow, but Bandow has a big enough lead that he should be fine. Yeah, if Bandow knows that he has a substantial lead right now, he might just go to Greenwood Village. But I've seen him go into Windmill Plains a lot. He's definitely a plane player, and Windmill Plains especially is one of his more specialty tracks in the game. So yeah, he's going to Windmill Plains. He is sticking to the game plan. He's a man of his word. In Windmill Plains, we go for as many bananas as we can in this section. Only gets 6, and then there's an additional 1 banana here. Oh boy. Alright, this is actually kind of bad. So now he's got CPUs in front of him, which is going to make this out-of-bounds attempt a little bit tricky, because they might run into him. Looks like he'll be fine. He gets out. Let's see if he can stay out now. And he does, for now. And CMA gets a slightly cleaner plane challenge, but Bandow is far enough ahead that really the only thing that can happen from here to give CMA a chance to take this first game of 3 is if he voids out by going too low, too far underneath the track, or too far to the left and right of the track. CMA going to Greenwood Village. And this track is maybe around 5 seconds, like 3 to 5 seconds slower than a good Windmill Plains. So most runners go to Greenwood Village because it's just very reliable. It's only a little bit slower. And you have to work pretty hard to get the time save from Windmill Plains too. If you're not the most confident plane player, or if you just don't like to do the out of bounds at the very end, then you can just go to Greenwood Village instead. We have access to both of those doors, and we only need to play one of them to collect the 20th balloon to get into Boulder Canyon so that we can collect the key up top the bridge here. It can be a little bit tricky. And you can return to the lobby as soon as you grab it. You get the progression the frame that you touch it, so you don't have to like win the game and get the key in order to get progression for the key. So that's why we can just pause out of it. From here, the last thing to do is to just finish this last minigame, and then the run will be over. But this is a best of 3 match, so it's not over yet. All of our playoff matches are going to be best of 3. I'm not sure if like the finals will be best of 5, or if that all the playoff matches will be best of 3. Oh. Got mixed up with his doors there for a moment, but he's in. Oh, Bandow outpaced, actually he outpaced the banana. So that's one of the possible time losses that can come from Smoky Castle. It's a very consistent minigame apart from 2 things. There's a CPU that can shoot you as you're collecting your 3rd and 4th bananas, and then you can also be too fast and outpace the bananas as they spawn in after you collect them. They take like 20-ish seconds to spawn in. And that will be time for Bandow, 29-29. So he will take the first match here. But CMA is finishing up here. I think, at least, I don't know CMA's PB off the top of my head. On the site, he has a 32-28, but in a previous match, he also had like a 32-0. But it looks like he's on pace to get a 30 here. And overall, this match, or this TT Amulet has been pretty decent from him. He hit the majority of his cutscene skips. He hit all 3 exit game cutscene skips. I think the main hurdle was Dark Water Beach. But that's usually the one that trips up most people. Oh, he almost gets shot by the CPU, coming back from collecting 5th and 6th banana. Coming up to the end here, this should be a 30-54. Pretty good. That's CMA's best run in the tournament so far by over a minute. So clearly he's been practicing. But yeah, Bandow will take the first win in this best of 3. But we've got more coming up. We've got another match to play. So we'll get the runners reset here in a moment. Round 2 will be coming up shortly, so stick around. This will be another good time to mention, we have new emotes. Just thought I'd say it again. Let me try out one of these new emotes here. There we go. That's a good one. Beautifully emotes. Alright. Runners are readying up. Getting the next run going here in a moment. Countdown is starting. Any moment now. Does anyone else have the Jeopardy theme going in their head? And they're off. Yeah, this is round 2, best of 3 for this matchup. Bandow took the first win with a 29-29. And CMA got a pretty good time, a 30-53. My memory's already failing me, and it's only been like 2 minutes. Yeah, if Bandow takes this next one, then he'll be moving on in the tournament to the quarterfinals. Beautiful cutscene.
Oh there! I am the genie of the island. I'm here to help you. Good luck.
Alright, let's get the overworld movement started here. Same as before, switch to plane, collect all 4 overworld balloons, and then head into Dino Domain. Bandow gets a better tunnel. See how they get the secret balloon behind the trees? Both decent. What you don't want to happen is bonking on some part of the area behind the trees and then getting stuck. Ledge balloon, and then the final 4th balloon. Alright. Bandow had about a 2-3 second better overworld. Very good canyon for CMA. That's one part of this track which most people struggle with is the canyon. It can feel like a pretty random section. Especially get these weird bounces like Bandow did. Oh no, CPU is completely denying that blue balloon for CMA. And a mine. Oh no. Most of the top runners, they like to get at least sub 1, but it doesn't come around very often. The game could just be that mean to you and just refuse to work. You get weird bounces, you miss balloons, you get hit by items. And the tree at the end is a menace as well. If there is one tree I would like to remove from the game, it would be that one in Fossil Canyon, just that very last one in the canyon. Oh. CMA got caught on the left ledge of the little ramp for the key. The hitbox for the ramp is really, really weird. If you even get close to the edge, you just kind of get stuck on it. So now I'll have to attempt it again. Much lower speed this time, so it should be, yeah, much, much easier. Going high speed, not only can you miss your mark pretty easily, but you can also zero frame through the key. So we like to slow down a little bit. Oh. Bandow will take a small lead from that cutscene skip. CMA will only lose 2 seconds for that, but it's going to look like he's going to be a whole race behind for just a little while here. But missing this cutscene skip will allow him to skip the Fire Mountain cutscene skip. The Fire Mountain cutscene? You can't skip the Fire Mountain cutscene. Unless you miss this cutscene skip. It all makes sense. Very easy to understand game. Bandow on his way back to Fire Mountain here. Most of the time in these minigames, where at least I'm usually pretty stressed out, because anything could really happen to ruin the run in any one of the minigames. Apart from Smoky Castle, that one doesn't really have too much time loss. Another thing we have to avoid in Fire Mountain is... Oh, CPU stole the central egg. Now we gotta wait for one to respawn, or we could try and steal one from an enemy's nest. So Tip Top has one right now, so he's going for it. Grabs it before it hatches. Once an egg hatches, you can no longer steal it. It's got a homing missile to protect this last egg. One's coming for it right away. And that's why we get the homing missile. I think another CPU is coming for it right now. And it gets hatched before it gets stolen. That CPU is right on top of his nest the moment it hatched. That was really, really close. Oh no. CMA also having some trouble with the CPUs here. Oh boy. See if he can get a third egg going. No! No, the CPUs. They're just ruthless right now. And his second egg gets stolen too. This isn't looking good for CMA. I mean, for neither of them, the CPUs are helping out at all. Steals the egg. See if he can get a second one hatched. It is. See if he can get his third one hatched. Another thing we're looking out to avoid is dropping the egg from too high up. Oh, the egg got stolen. No. Yeah, this just isn't working out for CMA right now. It's so sad. Sometimes these minigames will just... The moment they fall apart very hard. This is one you can kind of get stuck into if you just can't hatch the egg. Then you just gotta keep going. Unlike, no, it got stolen again. Are you kidding me? Unlike in Darkwater Beach, where you can just very consistently chip away at the health of the CPUs. This one, you kind of can't do much against the CPUs. Banjo is about to hatch his third egg. This is bad. And it got stolen. Yeah. So, at this point, the CPU patterns are so messed up that they're kind of at an impossible, like, pattern. Where they're just gonna always come over and steal your egg right as it's about to hatch. And they're always gonna be taking eggs from the nest. It's just, at the very start here, they're in a pattern where we can pretty easily win if we do everything correct. And the CPUs don't steal the eggs. But CMA just kind of got locked in there. Yeah, so from here, those CPUs are busy, and then it's just that one CPU that we have to shoot down. And that's the strategy. That was probably over a minute of lost time for CMA, which is so sad to see. But there really wasn't much he could do. He just got very, very unlucky. Sometimes I forget how tough Fire Mountain can really be. Because it's pretty much the only minigame where you really can get stuck. Unlike Smoky Castle, where you can always just deposit more bananas. You really won't... Oh, no. Bandow DQ'd on, like, the last possible frame of Car Challenge. Well, that's unfortunate for him. That's incredible for CMA. That's just what he needed to get a chance for a comeback here. Because that's a 30-second time loss, at least for Bandow. That's so sad. He just cut a little bit too much from the track in the off-road section. And that's all it took. That was all the difference for finishing the race and then disqualifying. So he's probably going to go extra safe. Yeah, he's not going to risk anything. He's just going to go for the standard finish.
Hello, bye-bye for now.
And CMA gets the exit game cutscene skip. Wow, what a turn of events. Yeah, that's just what CMA needed to have a chance to get this second game for himself. Because there are a lot of major time losses that follow this point on. You have Ice School Pyramid coming up. That one you could lose 30 seconds plus. You have that exit game cutscene skip. You have Dark Water Beach coming up. That exit game cutscene skip in Sherbet. And then if Bandow goes into Windmill Plains, he could void out, or he could, go back in bounds. Yeah, I don't know how much screen peeking either player is doing. I think some players do it, some players don't. There is no rule against it. It's completely fine. But sometimes it can be a good strategy to just check in on your opponent to see what kind of pace they're on, to see, like, especially for a few minor strategy changes, if you want to play just a little bit safer or riskier. Like, if you even have to at all. Like, if I was in their position towards the very end and my opponent was just a few seconds ahead of me, I would probably go into Windmill Plains for the out of bounds to save those last few seconds to maybe get a chance to come back. Yeah, Bandow still has a pretty decent lead, but it was a minute-plus lead just a while ago. But that DQ and card challenge is just so punishing. He really didn't do anything wrong either. Well, I guess neither player did anything wrong. They just got, really unlucky for CMA, and then Bandow just, like, pixels too far to the right, really. CMA struggling a little bit here in the forest section. It can be really, really tricky, especially with the fog. It can be really hard to judge, like, where you are exactly and where everything is relative to you. He's going for the newer chain, the super boost from the top of the hill all the way down. Tip-Top denying that zipper, of course. Big jump for Bandow through the valley. They're both getting that. They both first framed that cutscene skip in Frosty Village. Yeah, we'll see how Ice School Pyramid goes for Bandow here. Potential for time losses there. You miss a few shots and it could all fall apart.
Icicle Pyramid.
There's the key grab for CMA. The pattern looks good for Bandow, though. So, at the moment, it's looking just fine for him in Ice School Pyramid here. Yep. Got the good pattern. Yeah, what would ideally, not really ideal, but the worst outcome for Ice School Pyramid is a CPU doesn't come up. The third CPU stays down and then goes to the bottom level with all of their health. And then we have to chase them down. It's really annoying process that can take 30 plus seconds. Because there aren't really many good locations to camp a balloon when they're just, like, on the bottom level. But Bandow got through it very, very clean, though. On his way to Walrus Cove, and now CMA into Ice School Pyramid. CMA, if he wants to get a chance to get to Game 3, he's pretty much going to need to play perfectly from now on and just hope Bandow makes all of his major mistakes. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure what happened for CMA, but both CPUs, two of the CPUs did not come up. One came up late, okay. But this is going to be time loss no matter what. But it looks like Diddy is on the middle level right now. Yeah, there he is. Oh, he actually hits that shot. Nice. So, fun fact, if you're unsure of the location of a CPU, like if they're on the top, middle, or bottom, then look at the minimap icon, and it will change size depending on the tier that they're on. So right now it's the smallest size dot, which means Diddy's on the lowest level. Wait, is he going for the cold shot? Oh my god, he hit the cold shot. Someone call Giz right now. I didn't know CMA knew about the cold shot. That's so awesome. That is a very, very situational, rare strategy. You can actually shoot through the walls with the homing rocket if you're butted up next to it, and you can just shoot enemies through walls. That's awesome. I had no idea he knew about that. Oh, you did show him that Giz. Awesome. Yeah, sometimes it pays off to know these very obscure things about this game that you can do. In that case, it probably saved him like 5 or 10 seconds. But either way, that was a pretty brutal time loss for CMA once again. The minigame's just not letting him get through. I believe there have been a few icebergs made for DKR. There are a lot of very obscure things in this game that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of hidden lore. The players involved, and then the strategies made by them, or the wacky discoveries or weird bits of knowledge that can be found from playing this game for 10 plus years. Oh. Missed the exit game for Bandow. But Bandow is going to... Really, the only way for CMA to catch up here is a DQ from hover or plane challenge. And it would have to be like a bad DQ as well. Like like a DQ on lap 3. That would pretty much be CMA's main only chance to come back from this game 2. It's the cutscene skip. Yeah, CMA will need to pretty much play perfectly and hope that Bandow makes a major mistake, like disqualifying either of these 2 upcoming challenges. Because those are the biggest time losses right now. Collecting the key after you already finish the race, that is something that you can do in Boulder Canyon, and you can also do it in Snowball Valley. Maybe it's somehow, it would have to be like the most insane thing ever. You could maybe do it in Ancient Lake. It looks like Bandow has avoided disqualification for Hover Challenge, so he should be fine. And CMA is coming up to the end of Everfrost Peak. He'll need to get this exit game to not fall further behind here to give himself any kind of chance of getting this game 2. He does get it. Bandow's heading into Sherbet Island. CMA is just now starting Hover Challenge. So this is probably like a minute 20 to minute 30 lead that Bandow has right now. I mean, they've both had some very big time losses. They've both had them this run. This one's just insane. Insanely brutal. It's CMA is sticking to his game plan, going underneath the bridge. Bandow barely missed that blue balloon. That one's always really painful to miss as well. Really, all of these are really painful to miss. Maybe the ending one isn't the biggest deal. Misses the cutscene skip as well. It is possible from here for CMA to come back. Bandow would pretty much just have to make every mistake in the book. But, you know, with DKR, that really could happen to anybody. It's kind of just the nature of this game. It's kind of a miracle that any single run works at all. Like, if you can have a run with, like, no weird time losses, that's just kind of insane. It's going for the scenic route. In the silver coin version, there is a silver coin up there, so we do have to go up there every once in a while. At least that way, he actually got up to 10 bananas pretty easily going up there. Doesn't go for the key lap 2. Hopefully he remembers to go for the key for lap 3. And he does remember. That's something that you'll see if there's ever someone running. Uh-oh, stuck on the edge. Get out. You'll often see people reminding the other runners if they like stream attempts of like 100%. As soon as like Crescent Island comes up, that everyone just starts spamming the word key in chat, because every once in a while we'll forget to go for it. Like for me, I'll forget to go for it if I have like a really clean lap 1. And I kind of just get into like a time trial mode in my head, and I'm trying to get a really fast time and just completely forget it. Yeah. CMA is pretty much just one full track behind here. So CMA is going to need Bandow to pretty much make 1 minute and 30 seconds worth of time loss to have a chance of coming back here. And both runners are using the same, I think they're both using the same strategy for Darkwater Beach, going for the fast kill on the first one, and then just doing camping on the second and third. So there really isn't like much time loss that can be like, there isn't much time loss that can happen comparatively because they're both going for that strategy. Like it can only just be a little bit slower if they miss like a shot or two. It'd be a much bigger deal if they're both going for the fast strategy and one of them misses the fast strategy completely and has to resort to camping.
Darkwater Beach.
Bandow missed 2 shots already. So a little bit of time lost there. This probably won't be a very fast, I keep trying to say Boulder Canyon. Darkwater Beach for Bandow. So it's really all CMA can be asking for from Bandow here. Pretty much just get every time save from now on for CMA, and then have Bandow get every time loss from now on. Having both minigames go the way that they did for CMA was just a terrible thing to see. You hate to see it. But if it's any consolation for CMA, he put up a really strong first game. Like, it really wasn't that far behind either. Bandow heading into the last track of Sherbet Island here. Treasure Cave's got the exit game coming up. CMA's really going to want him to miss this one. Cutscenes get missed for CMA. See if Bandow gets the chain here. Actually, he doesn't have the balloon, so it won't be the real full chain. Getting the balloon at the top of the hill can be really tricky sometimes. The ledge kind of throws us in a direction if you're going fast enough or if you're turning hard enough. CMA going for the quick kill, misses that balloon, and then misses that one, just like Bandow. Bandow misses the exit game though. And then CMA got the same start as Bandow, so he won't be saving much time against Bandow for Darkwater Beach. And pretty much the only major time loss coming up that Bandow could possibly make is DQing on lap 3 of Plane Challenge, or somehow DQing twice. That would be really sad to see, but that's something that very much could happen. Plane Challenge is probably the hardest of the three to do cleanly and to not DQ on, because there's one like problem spot, which is just the lap transition through the main area of the overworld, cutting over the grass, the Taj mat. If you cut over way too far to the right and you're slow enough, you could DQ. If you bonk on the entrance to the snow tunnel, you get pushed to the right, you could DQ like that. You can also technically DQ in the snow area, but no one ever can go really far enough to the right for that to be an issue. It's more of an issue in hover, because the checkpoints are kind of placed differently to where DQing in the snow area is possible at all, with like the normal way we move around that section. But unfortunately for CMA, this was a pretty clean plane challenge for Bandow. That's the last major time save, or time loss. Last major time loss gone from Bandow. There really isn't much that can happen to Bandow now that would slow him down. He's going to Groomed Village. He's playing it safe. I respect it. If he knows the pace that CMA is on, then it would be good judgment to just get the last balloon, not to show off too much. Just play it safe. Only really gonna lose maybe a few seconds. CMA gets the last exit game though. Apart from the time losses, CMA is playing really well right now. And usually a good Greenwood Village is like a 106, 107. Even somewhere around a 110 is fine. That cutscene skip's always very tricky if you have to buffer it. It's like 20 FPS coming up to it, and then sometimes when you buffer it, it'll be like 30 FPS, so it throws off a lot of players. Usually they'll go for a different timing when they go for a buffer. That's part of the trouble, is that because we have a variable frame rate, the time within the frame will change, which then changes how fast or slow you need to press the start button twice in a row. If it's 30 FPS, you'll have to do it much quicker. Otherwise, if you're at 20 or 15 FPS, where you go much slower, get to the key right away and can pause out. Sometimes you can go right through the key and have to do a few passes of the key before you actually collect it. It's really annoying. And Bandow is coming up to the end of this one. It looks like Bandow will be taking the second win, which will give him the win in this match and bring him into the quarterfinals. Here's the final stretch for Bandow. 31-02. Might have been like 31 flat. Either way, that will be the second win for Bandow, and he will secure this matchup. And he will be moving on to the quarterfinals.
You won first prize.
Congrats to Bandow. And CMA also put up a very good showing today. I think CMA got a PB, if I'm reading my info correctly. I checked in on CMA's previous VODs to see if he had a better time than what he got in the tournament just now in the previous round. I think that's a PB. Alright, here's the key grab. Ooh. Yep, you can see he just basically ran right through it, and there's the key grab. It's really tricky. The hitbox for the key doesn't feel very generous, unlike some other objects like silver coins sometimes feel pretty generous, and balloons and bananas are kind of generous as well, but the keys feel pretty small. Misses the banana, but also avoids getting shot by the CPU. Oh, there we go. Looks like it'll be a 33 here for CMA, which, considering everything that happened, is pretty much right in line with the time that he would get. The major time losses from Icicle Pyramid and Fire Mountain were just so brutal. And that is the end of the match. 33-21 for CMA. But Bandow will be taking this match 2-0 and will move on to the quarterfinals. And now Bandow, advancing to the quarterfinals, is going to be going against the number 2 seed in the tournament, which is Trident Tail. And that is going to be a tough matchup for Bandow. But who knows? Anything could happen in this tournament. With a category like this where, you know, minute plus time losses kind of loom over you the whole time. Yeah, that's that. Wait a moment here, see if the runners come in for post-game interview. Or if Bandow is going to be playing minimal planes until the end of his days. There you are. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Congrats on the win, 2-0.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, both of the first and second match, first and second round, both featured some pretty big time losses from both sides, missing the quit to menu cutscene skips. CMA had probably the most unfortunate time losses, at least in a single match, but you did have the disqualification and card challenge.
One thing that you missed out. I actually disqualified twice in the car challenge.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I was fuming, to say the least. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know how I can better it, but I had no clue what I did wrong.
I guess maybe too far to the right, or taking like a diagonal line, so you have to cover more distance in the off-road.
I have no clue.
I'm not sure yet.
I have no clue.
Yeah, either way, you took the match 2-0. So GG's. We saw you go into Windmill Plains in the first match, and that went just fine.
Yep.
Then you went to Greenwood Village for the second match. I'm not sure if you were just trying to play it safe or if you knew the kind of pace that CMA was on, so maybe you just tried to safe the rest of the run.
It's kind of both. I was listening to the commentary for the most part, but when I knew that CMA was quite a fair bit behind, but also if I went into Windmill Plains and played it, I knew that something bad probably would have happened to me because of the rest of the run that's happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wasn't risking it.
Yeah. Yeah, really the only possible time loss that you could have made at that point going into Dragon Force would be going into Windmill Plains and then like voiding out like 2 or 3 times and then going back in bounds and you just have like a 2-minute Windmill Plains. But yeah. Yeah, CMA in the second match had just the mini games just did not work out for him. Fire Mountain, I think, was like a 45 to 1 minute time loss.
Oh,
His egg got stolen like 4 times, and then he had to reset Fire Mountain after all that happened. And then he got a very clean Fire Mountain after he reset. Icicle Pyramid, 2 of the CPUs didn't even come up at all.
oh,
It was really bizarre.
ow!
And
That
then
is not great.
And then one CPU came up very late. And then the last CPU was just on the bottom.
And I heard he did the what was the
cold
Yeah.
shot.
the cold shot?
Yeah. Homing missile through the wall, locking in, taking them out. Yeah, he did a PB in the first match by over a minute.
Yeah. If I played like I did in the second race to his first race, he would have won.
Yeah. I think he played really well today. It's just the game did not work out. But he played very well despite what the game did to him.
He did.
Yeah.
He kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. He actually did play very, very well. I didn't play well, so GG's 10.
Yeah. Yeah, with that win, you're going to be going against Trident Tail in the quarterfinals.
Yay!
So, yeah.
I am not looking forward to that, but
Yeah.
bring it on. Love the challenge.
Trident Tail hasn't been playing too much, so I would have to think that if you practice a ton, you could win. You could take him.
Yeah, if I got like a mid 27 maybe, but
Yeah.
I haven't even been playing that much recently either, so
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we are going to wrap it up. That's the last match for today. We're going to be rating Bewildebeest. So you got anything else to say, Bando?
No, all good.
All right.
GG's to CNA.
Yep. Bye for now.